Hi, good morning. Let's talk about language barriers. I live in Bogotá, Colombia. I've been here for a year and a half, but I haven't lived in the United States since September of 2015. And so I've been around to some places where I don't speak the language, or I'm learning the language, or I'm absolutely not going to try to learn the language because it's hard and I don't want to do that. So let's talk about what it's like navigating life in those spaces. I think a lot of fear of moving abroad for Black women is, but I don't speak the language there, I can't go there. And so I hope by the end of this video, you will no longer feel like that. Hi, my name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School and co-creator of Exodus Summit. We talk about house sittings, sabbaticals, career breaks, moving abroad, bopping around as a nomad on this channel. If you're interested in that, go ahead and hit the like button, please, while I catch my breath. Thank you. Hit the like button and then turn on notification. No, subscribe is what I meant to say. So thank you for the like, but also I meant to say, go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you're interested, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with my friends. Okay, thank you. Hi, friends. Good morning. How's everyone? Please say hi in the chat. Hello, Igami. Hello, Benita. Thank you. Hello, Erica Dinero TV. Hey, Fall Girl. Hey, ML Jack. Good morning, the Joanna Elizabeth. Good morning, Double T and Naduela and Dropping Knowledge Bombs and Forced Awareness. Hey, Laura. Hey, Big C from Uptown. Hey, B Pier. Hey, Coffee Brown, Expat Bound. Hey, Tampa Creek, Homestead, and more. Hi, how's everyone? Happy Saturday. Live streams are Saturdays, most Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you want to receive the text notification, the text alert to get the live, if you want, hold on, let me do this. I can't talk and do things at the same time. If I'm closing things out, if you want the text notification when I go live, the number, there's a phone number in the description of this video. Let me see if I can find it fast enough to put it here in the chat. You just text the word YouTube to 888-403-4465 and you'll get your text notifications. Y'all got your alerts today, right? That way you don't have to remember that it's live stream time. All right, good morning. So do I speak Spanish? No. Yo hablo español. Okay. I always tell people in Spanish when they be like, oh, you speak Spanish? I'll be like, conozco las palabras más importantes, right? Yo sé las palabras más importantes, right? And they know what I'm going to say. I'm like, cerveza, tequila, churro, café, right? I can say the most important words. I can get my food in Spanish. Most of the time, when I read a menu now, I know what it is. I know almost everything on the menu, right? I know what eggplant is. I know what is it? Always garlic. I know the words. So food, I got covered. But what's it like? Here's what I want to talk about today. Let me calm down. Let me get myself together. I want to talk about what it's like to be in places long-term, not just on vacation, but long-term, when you don't speak the language and when your language skills are maybe slow to develop. And I also want to talk about why we're so freaked out in the first place about going places where we don't speak the language. I think I want to start there. Okay, I want to start there. Good morning, Mom. From our family cruise. What is you talking about? Are you on a cruise? Huh? Ain't nobody told me nothing. What? Okay, I'm getting myself together. Okay, so as American people, most of us are Americans. Some of us are also, there's some Canadians in the chat, some British people in the chat. There's probably very similar experiences for you too. But as Americans, we are I'm going to say all Americans. I'm not talking about Black people. Americans are very hard on people who come to the United States of America and don't speak English. Rude, hard, rude, dismissive of people, even though English is their second language. English is our first language and probably only language. The United States of America is cruel to people who don't speak English conversationally or fluently. And we expect that same treatment by those people when we go to their countries. We do them dirty. I'm talking about Americans. I'm not talking about Black people. Americans do them dirty. And so we're very paranoid about going to their countries because we know how rudely we treat them. And we expect that same treatment when we go to their countries. But that's not been my experience. That's not how it works. For a few different reasons. For one reason is that English is the lingua franca. It's the language that a lot of things are conducted in around the world. So a lot of people speak some English. Wherever you go, people speak some English. I'm here in Bogotá, Colombia, and there are people who will switch to English on me, right? So there are people who will speak some English because we happen to speak the world's language of business and commerce and tourism and finance, right? So, number one, when we go to those places, they don't expect us to be fluent in their language immediately, like Americans expect you to be when you come to the United States. And number two, there are plenty of people around the world who do speak some English. And so we don't run into the same horrible treatment and marginalization and being pushed aside that non-English speakers experience in the United States. But our fear is that we will. We're afraid to go other places where they speak other languages because we're afraid of being treated the way we treat people. Right? Fortunately, that's not how things work. And people have been very kind to the women in this community who've been around the world, to me, and to travelers and tourists and immigrants and moving people throughout worldwide. The fear that you're not going to be able to be treated well, or the fear that you're not going to be able to navigate the day if you don't speak the language of the place you're going to, is because we know how hard it is for people in the United States to navigate the day if they don't speak English. But that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it's going to work. I guess I should give a couple of caveats. Learn the language. Learn how to speak the language where you're going. If you're planning on living somewhere. Now, if you're bopping around from place to place and you're going to be in Thailand for 3 months, I don't think you need to learn Thai, right? Learn how to say hello, thank you, delicious. When you're eating in Thailand, you want to say those things in Thai. Maybe learn the words for chicken or beef, right? But if you're planning to live in a place, live there. I think you don't need to know it before you go. I don't think you need to spend a lot of time on it before you go. If you want to, do. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying not knowing the language shouldn't keep you from moving there or being there. Right? You learn it when you get there. You can put concentrated effort into learning it when you get there from local people with the local accent and the local vocabulary. Last week I said coche, and they like carro. We don't say coche, okay? You're in Colombia, lady. We don't call it a coche. We call it a carro, okay? I was talking about getting in the car. I went and picked up some stuff. I went and bought I told y'all, I think I've already told y'all this. I went and bought a buffet, like a credenza from a lady. But the moving company and I went separately. The movers went in the van, in the moving truck, and I went in a car with a driver. And so I was like explaining to them that I was going to be in the drive with the car and the driver. And they were like, I said, I'll follow behind in the coche. And they were like, carro. Speaking of which, the lady I bought the credenza for, Gloria, who I called Abuela Gloria, in my mind since then, I've been calling her Abuela Gloria, even though she's not old enough to be my grandmother. She was very pleasant and kind and friendly and fun to talk to, but in Spanish, right? She spoke to me in Spanish, and I navigated my way through that conversation. She even said a sentence. So she was selling things in her home through a third party. The man who does like estate sales was there too. Miguel. Miguel was there. And so she was using Miguel to translate, even though I could understand a decent part of what she was saying. She was just telling me about the items in her home that were for sale, right? So she was using Miguel to translate, and she got serious and she grabbed onto my hand. She was very small. So I was touching her anyway, thank you, whatever. And then she grabbed onto my hand and she said to him in Spanish, "We like you here." Right? "We like you here." And he was afraid to translate it because he thought it was a little awkward, a little strange, but I knew what she was saying. We like Black people here. Okay. I don't know that all Colombians like Black people here, but she did. She wanted me to know that she do. Her and her people do. But I navigated the sale of things in her home in Espanol. She let me go through a bunch of records. I got the Celia Cruz record and some other records, Tony Orlando and Dawn, and a couple of mariachi bands or singers. And I did that in Espanol in her home. And it worked. I've been to doctors in Spanish. The dentist I go to here in Bogotá does not speak English. The gynecologist does. So the GYN that I went to, I had 2 biopsies in a few weeks. The woman, it's a practice with a husband and a wife. The wife speaks Spanish and the wife speaks English and Spanish and the husband does not. She wanted to do a special type of procedure that only he does. So she came in and did the procedure. She started the biopsy. He walks in, "Hola, buenos dias," whatever. And then he said something to me and she was like, "No." English, right? And so we navigated that while she was there. And then I did the second biopsy with him only in Espanol. The dentist pulled my tooth. She did this dentist did she did an extraction. My crown messed up, so she did an extraction and a bridge. We navigated that in Espanol. If you don't feel comfortable getting healthcare in a language that you don't speak, which is probably a reasonable concern, right? Probably pretty reasonable. There are translators. There are medical translators. Inside of Facebook communities, wherever you want to move, there are people sharing the people that they use for these kind of services. There are people who are like, "Here's my blank. Here's my driver. Here's my whatever." And including, "Here's my medical translator. Here's the person who goes with me on doctor's appointments and translates for me." So it's not been a horrible situation. I rented my apartment without speaking Spanish. I read the lease in Espanol as much as I could. They happen to WhatsApp me the lease. WhatsApp is a major business platform around the world. So they sent me the lease in WhatsApp and I copied and pasted it into a translator. But even if I hadn't, I would recommend reading the lease. I was going to say, I'm surprised I read it anyway. I kind of skimmed it over. Okay, healthcare, buying furniture, eating food, all of the things that I need to do to be able to live comfortably in Bogotá, I can do while having toddler Spanish. Not too long ago, or maybe it's probably a year ago now, I went to a restaurant here in Bogotá and a family sat beside me and a 5-year-old conversed with me in Spanish. ¿Por qué estás en Bogotá? Why are you in Bogotá? Kids are always interested in where you're from. That's one of the first questions kids usually ask me in Spanish. Where are you from? Or are you from Central America or something, right? I had a boy in Mexico, Guadalajara asked me that. Are you from Central America? He was 7, right? But where are you from? And why are you in Bogota? Is a really common kid question. But then she got into some other questions. Why are you alone? Where are your kids? Right? She asked me, where are my kids? And something, something. And she was really sad when I told her I didn't have kids. Oh, generally, when women ask you, do you have, where's your partner and where are your kids? And you say you don't have one, they'd be like, good for you. But children are so scandalized by that. She was scandalized by that. There were only 2 or 3 times in that whole conversation. And we had a conversation. We had a conversation. I tried not to ask her too many questions, but she asked me a lot of questions. People, I try to mind the boundaries of not asking children a bunch of personal questions while being asked and answering a bunch of personal questions. But she was like, she asked me a couple of things where I was like, turned to the mom and I was like, I don't understand that word. I don't understand what she's asking me. How long? I know how long I've been here. There was something she asked me that was like a period of time. And I was like, I don't know what she's asking me. And the mom, believe the mom translated for me in English. So that means that last year, I didn't even have the language proficiency of a 5-year-old, right? I'm 3. I'm a toddler in Espanol, but I get my needs met. I'm a toddler who knows how to order cerveza, tequila, cafe, latte. I like a cappuccino, actually, con leche deslactosada. That's the milk here in Colombia. That's how I know they know they're Black, because their milk is lactose free. The standard milk here is deslactosada, the lactose free milk. Yeah, but okay, yeah. So I believe that's what she was looking for, but she was so scandalized when I told her I did not have anybody for her to play with. Scandalized. I cannot understand why this would be possible. So having toddler Spanish means that I can live my everyday life. But I have toddler Spanish after taking Spanish in high school. I believe I took at least 2 Spanish courses in college, and traveling around Latin America for, the last 5 or 6 years or so, 6 years or 7 years maybe. And still I'm at a toddler level. Now, I have not paid a tutor. I have not paid a tutor, which is a thing that I would recommend that you do. But I can still live my life. Now, I can't make friends, unfortunately. Although I do plan to hang out with Gloria, Abuela Gloria. I do plan to hang out with her and make her my friend. And then we went to that, when we had the meet up down here, we went to that Viche tasting. And I want to be friends with the lady from the Viche company. We're Instagram friends right now. But she doesn't speak English at all, right? Abuela Gloria, I believe she snuck in an English word here and there. But the Viche tasting lady, she did not, there was no English, right? Not even good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it was. So I need to get a tutor and get my Spanish up to make friends here. Right now, my friends are the security guards who work for my building, 2 of the 3. Okay. One of them is not interested in conversation with me, but 2 of the 3 will have the basic conversation that I could have. Like during the World Cup, I went and bought my jersey and I walked in and we talked a little bit about the Copa, that kind of conversation. But I would recommend a tutor. And it's a thing that, like, I will do it. I just need to do it. I will do it. I just need to do it. How did I negotiate the lease? So the lease was in Espanol, the lease was in Spanish. I read the words I looked for the things that I could understand, first of all, right? How much is it? I wanted to know about the lease walk away, like cancellation policy, how to end the lease. I could read, I could make out a basic amount to know that it was okay. But then I copied and pasted the whole thing into Google Translate. I think I did a couple paragraphs at a time, a couple, like one each section at a time into Google Translate, right? I wouldn't put it in a AI tool because AI will lie to you, right? AI will just make up stuff. AI hallucinates. I put it, and I'm not a fan of AI anyway. Don't use AI for things that you can just use a search engine for, right? Or an app for. Don't use AI. AI is using up resources and using stolen content when you can just go to the source. Go to the source. So I used Google Translate, but you can find another translator app that you like. And I put it in there a couple paragraphs at a time or a section at a time and read it. You can go to a third party, right? I could have paid a third party, like a lawyer. I could have paid a lawyer here who speaks both languages. Those things exist, right? It's not like you get there and nobody speaks English, right? It's not like you get there and everyone is only Spanish speaking and no English speaking, right? The people who I paid to do my digital, I paid to have somebody do my digital nomad visa instead of doing it myself, even though I was very frustrating to them. And they spoke to me in English. They were bilingual because they work with people who want to move to the US. And whether that person is from the United States or Sweden or Thailand, they're going to communicate with them in English because English is the lingua franca. English is the language that we're doing business in worldwide. And so I did those things and navigated these things. I've never moved to a place that I don't even speak any of the language, but I've been there. I've been to Vietnam. I've spent months in Vietnam, months in Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines. So they do speak Tagalog, but they also speak English. So I don't know. I don't think that counts. They're the most multilingual people that I've experienced. Here in Bogotá, there's a good chance I run into someone and they don't speak a word of English. I never experienced that in the Philippines. I had a little driver, like a little tricycle driver, driving me around the island of the surfer island, Moal Boal. Tiny island, popular with surfers, beautiful sunsets. And they drove, the little taxi type, tuk-tuk type vehicle is a little tricycle thing. It's a grown up sized tricycle. And I swear that man had probably 4 teeth. 4 teeth. He's on this little tiny island in the Philippines, driving a tricycle around. And that man spoke to me in English, right? He talked to me in English. He didn't talk to me in Tagalog. He didn't talk to me in the language of that island. So in the Philippines, the islands have a language, then they have Tagalog, and then they speak English, right? He spoke to me in English. I thought we weren't going to be able to communicate. I told him where I wanted to go, the beach I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to the beach for a sunset. And he was like, "Oh, sorry, no sunset today." Sorry, no sunset today, right? But I've been to other places where I cannot say a word to you and you don't understand a word I'm saying, and I still navigated my life. In Vietnam, I rented I rented a room in a house from a lady. We didn't speak a word in common. In Hoi An, I stayed there for 2 months. I rented that room, I believe, for 2 months, and I paid her $180 US a month, the equivalent in dong, right? I paid her the equivalent of 180 US dollars per month. And I signed something with her. And she wouldn't let me pay her cash. Either she wouldn't let me pay her cash or I couldn't get enough cash out that day. Or no, it wouldn't have been that because $180, I definitely could. She wanted me to pay her for some reason. I had to go to she owned a leather goods store. So I had to go to her leather shop and pay her. I don't remember why now. This was 2016. I went to her leather store. We navigated all of this without me speaking a word of Vietnamese and without her speaking a word of English, right? I was staying at a hostel and I said, I'd like to rent a room for a month or two. They sent me somewhere first. Gosh, I wish I could remember how I found her place. They sent me to another place first, and I wasn't fond of it. They sent me to her. Somehow I ended up in her. I mean, she may have just had a sign in the front on the street, right? She had a narrow but long property, not long, but narrow property. Her and her family lived in a house in the front, and they had just built a back house with maybe 4 bedrooms, 2 on the first floor, 2 on the second floor, something like that, and a common kitchen. And everybody had an ensuite bathroom. And I went in there, told them that I wanted to look at it, looked at it, said, yes, please. And how do I pay you? And we did all of that. And not one word of English or Vietnamese was understood. Not one word was understood by the other person. And she gave me a bicycle to ride. The man, a couple of buildings down, was like a hotel/guest house, and he had bicycles for rent in the front. So she included the bicycle in the rent I think for 1 month, 180 included the bike. And then for the second month, I went back and paid him again, $10 for the month for the bicycle. And that's how you navigate in a place where you don't speak the language. You can stay in tourist area. This happened to be outside of the tourist area. I wanted to stay away from the tourist area in Hoi An, which is harder now, but back then it was possible. It was actually right across the street from where we ate. We ate at Red Dragon when we were there back last February. And I literally lived across the street and maybe a block down from there. When I stayed with the lady in that house. It was me, a young dude from Denmark. I think his name was Julian or something. That boy smoked weed all day. And then there was an older man who left. He was also European, and he left. There were 3 of us in that house at the same time. I barely went into the kitchen because I think I had a mini fridge. I had a coffee maker. And it was Vietnam, where you don't make your own food. Listen, I'm not making my own food. Hi. Piachu. Hi. You're very trusting. I think it's important to learn how to tap into your trust of the stranger. When you leave your space, you do not want to be suspicious and fearful. So it's important to learn how to tap into that trust. Mostly, it's easy because you know that you're a good person, and you're not the only good person. Surely I'm not the best person in the world. Surely I'm not the only good person, the goodest. I'm not the goodest girl, right? Surely if I exist, and my people exist, and my family exists, and my friends exist in the United States, surely these same good-hearted people exist in the country I'm going to, in the city I'm visiting. What I actually find, and some of this I credit to being a Black American person, which is a person that people around the world like, right? Like Abuela Gloria said, we like you here. We like you here, right? I think some of it I credit to being a Black woman, but some of it is just how other people are. People have extended themselves to me in ways that I wouldn't even have thought to, right? So in the Philippines, I was taking a bus from one place to another, and the lady had come with her little itty bitty baby to bring her husband his lunch. He worked at the bus station, and she was coming to bring him his lunch. And this was a really small island, not a small island, but a small bus station. I don't remember where I was, maybe Cebu. And she was coming to bring him lunch, and she sees me there. And everybody else is a local person. And she sees me and she's like, this is my opportunity to meet this stranger. She sat down with her little itty bitty baby, talked to me, asked me where I was going, told me, even though I knew which bus to get on, told me which bus to get on, and then sat there to make sure I got on the right bus. Did not leave until I got on the correct bus. Right? She was afraid I was going to be too dumb to figure it out. Sat there and made sure that I got on the correct bus and then went on about her day, right? Kindness is a way of life for people around the world because that's how they have to operate under the crushing systems of capitalism and white supremacy. They have to be kind to each other and to other people. And they are. Listen, that's not the reason that I remember that story isn't because it's the only time someone was kind to me. It just really stood out and I remember it. But it's not the only time. I had a woman in the mall in the Philippines stop me, sit down, have a conversation with me, and then take me to lunch so I could try some Filipino dishes that she knew I hadn't tried yet. Right? So that's why people in the Philippines are my top tier, right? Top tier people. Philippines, Fiji, Bermuda, Costa Rica, South Africa. Tier 1, right? Black South Africans, tier 1. Well, Black South Africans when I was there in 2017, okay? Tier 1. That of the things I've experienced. And so I would say, you have to learn how to tap into the trusting side when you go abroad, or you're going to have a horrible experience because you need help. You need help, friend. You don't know things. You don't know nothing, right? I got clobbered by that bicyclist here. I needed to let those people help me. That man rung my bell. I was on the ground laid out, bleeding from my appendages. I needed them people to help me, right? I needed to trust them, right? They got me up off the ground. Are you okay? Let me bandage you up, right? Help me. You have to tap into the trust, even though in the United States, that can be a dangerous thing. You have to be able to tap into it when you're abroad. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. How do you filter for danger? You use your good common sense and your intuition. You know about some scams. So you do need to know what scams look like, right? Around the world, squirting something on you and then trying to wipe it off of you is a common scam. Don't squirt stuff on me. And if you do, I don't care. I'm walking. Don't wipe me down. I don't need you to wipe me down, right? Common scam. They squirt something on you. They wipe stuff off you while somebody else picks your pockets. Knowing what a common scam looks like, right, will help you avoid these situations. But you use your good common sense. How do you filter for danger? Use your good common sense. I am 5'9" and fat. I don't have a kidnapping fear. I don't have a fear of being kidnapped. Right? Maybe if you're a smaller person and easily picked up, maybe if you're more pick upable, you might have a little, keep an arm's distance from people when you have conversations with them instead of being petting on them, because I will rub on you. Listen, if you look like a huggy person, if you look like a person who wants to hug me, I want to hug you, right? Maybe you keep a couple arms lengths away from people, but filter for danger. You use your good common sense. You can't make it to adulthood in the United States without having common sense. You use it. These are human people. Right? They're human people around the world. Most people don't want nothing from you. They're going about their day, right? They're living their lives. And they just want to make sure that you don't end up on the news, right? In Brazil, well, now this was in English. In Brazil, in Salvador, I was there during the World Cup, and there was a lot of things happening in 2014. And I wanted to walk to a particular church. One thing about me, I'm going to your fancy churches. I wanted to walk to a particular, in Portuguese, it's igreja. I wanted to walk to a particular igreja. I looked at it on the map. I'm so dry today. I looked at it on the map, but instead of walking the way the map told me to go, I'm going to take a shortcut. I take a shortcut through a barrio, through a neighborhood that was getting a little. Even I, Miss, I don't know danger. Even I was like, I don't know. There was a trans looking person walking down the street. Trans woman, looked like a trans woman walking down the street, and then men across the street from her were harassing her, yelling things to her, but in a way that seemed like they did know her, but they were still like, I was like, I don't know what's going on. Then I get further, but then I see two little girls outside coloring with chalk on the sidewalk. I'm like, this got to be a fine neighborhood to walk through. It just started looking and feeling dangerous. But then I see two little girls walking down the street, two little girls coloring on chalk on the sidewalk. So I'm like, it can't be that bad. And then this woman came out of her house and was like, in English, this is a very bad neighborhood. What are you doing here? This is a very bad, the mother of she was in the house. She came out of the house that the little girls were in front of with the chalk, sidewalk chalk. Very New Jersey. I was like, I'm trying to get to the church. She said, there's no church in this neighborhood. You know what you need to do? She came out of the house, down the steps. She wasn't even outside with the girls. She came out to me, down the steps, took my hand and walked me in the direction I should walk. She said, you go to the tourist police. There were tourist police booths around. You ask them how to get to the church, right? So you use your good sense and you let other people tell you when something is dangerous. Local people will tell you, don't do this and don't go there, right? Don't do this, don't go in this direction, or leave here before it gets dark. You let the local people tell you. They know, right? They know. Most local people in places, they're from a place that is less dangerous than the place you're from. If you're from the United States of America, any city, any town, you're used to navigating a more dangerous situation than they are. Most of the time. Maybe not in Salvador, Brazil, but in them islands in the Philippines, I navigate much more dangerous situations in Wilmington, Delaware than they will ever, right? In terms of other people danger. They have typhoons. They got typhoons. I have gangs, right? Wilmington, Delaware has gangs and drug activity, right? Homicide. And so I can navigate a more dangerous situation than the situation I'm walking into. I think that's another important answer to the how do you filter for danger. You know where you are, right? Moaboal, the Philippines, is not going to kill me. If Wilmington, Delaware didn't take me out, Moaboal is not going to do that. Knowing that you're used to much more danger than they're used to, you're good, right? Yeah. Okay. Get them honey buns, eat them honey buns, and walk around the world with confidence. Okay. You're not just picking me up and kidnapping me. Okay. This is a team effort to kidnap me. Right? Eat the honey buns. I am not easily pick upable. You're not just going to walk around and decide at the last minute that you want to kidnap me, right? You would have to plot and plan. You got to send me somewhere. I got to walk in the door. To be kidnapped, I need to walk through the door on my own. Right? You're not just gonna scoop me into a car. Yeah, she was like, this is a very bad neighborhood. Now she had her girls, their girls were sitting outside coloring in chalk. She apparently thought that I was too naive and not smart enough to navigate a system that her own girls could navigate. I was like, oh, this is okay. But then I was like, no, I had the feeling. I had the feeling. It's important to not talk yourself out of your feelings, whether the feelings are the intuition is positive or negative. Because I started to feel it. I don't know. But I kept pushing forward, which is not, it's almost never smart. Pushing through is almost never the answer, right? It's almost never the answer. Not when you're in a dangerous situation, not when you're in a situation where you're tired, whatever. Pushing through is almost never the answer. But I thought I was close. I'm like, I think I'm close. Let me just push through. I started feeling like this is a dangerous situation here. Ugh. And she was like, go that way, came down, grabbed my hand and took me the other direction. And that was an English interaction, but I would have been able to understand in Portuguese as well what she was saying, right? We know peligroso is Espanol, but it's probably similar in Portuguese, right? Oh, don't call them gangs anymore? Well, okay. No. There was a time Wilmington, Delaware had the highest per capita murder rate in the United States of America. Highest, that was gangs. They was gangs, right? Wilmington, Delaware at one point had the country's highest per capita murder rate. Violent crime it was bad. And so there was a whole side of town I didn't go to. I'm not going on the east side. Even today, right? Realtors try to convince me that this is the future of Wilmington. You can buy two row houses for $80,000 total. I don't care. I'm not coming over here. I'm not living here. No, I'm using my good sense to not do that. Right, Michelle? Yeah, so you let the local people tell you what is and isn't a danger. Michelle says her Uber driver in Guadalajara would not leave her until she put her cell phone in her bag. Here, even today, listen, I've been in this apartment for a year and a month. I've been in this apartment for a year and a month, and still, if I'm walking out the door with my phone in my hand, the security guard tells me to put my phone away. I was like, I've been here. I'm in the financial district. I'm not in a very crimeful neighborhood, right? I'm in a very boring neighborhood, right? And still, and I'm only going to the grocery store, right? It's not like I'm going to be walking forever. Still, take care of your phone. Protect your phone. Put your phone away. Let the people tell you what the danger is and what the danger isn't. False sense of security. I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. I felt it in my stomach. Even the look changed. The look of the neighborhood changed, and then the way that they were yelling at her, I was like, if they chase her, I can't help her. Right? Then she turned around and she said something to them that made me think that they know each other. This happens every time she walks down this neighborhood. But I was like, this isn't a good situation. And the look of the buildings have changed and this looks not good. And then I saw the girls and I was like, it must be okay. But next time, follow your intuition. Thank you kindly. Kidnapped in the States, how are you? I hope you're doing good. And I hope you got some support, help, counseling, therapy. I hope you're doing all right. No, not all right. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think unlearning stranger danger as the default, unlearning that the next person is the danger, unlearning that, keeping your good sense and knowing that there are, bad people out there, but knowing that just because they're Colombian doesn't make them a bad person. right? Just because they're Filipino or wherever you are doesn't make them a bad person. Doesn't mean you need to protect yourself from them. That would be a helpful way to move about the world. Bluebell, when I was 19, my boyfriend's mother was telling us about a girl my age who'd been snatched off her bike. And she said that would never happen to you, right? Protection. Eat them honey buns. Eat them honey buns. Let them honey buns save your life. Whenever people are like, I just can't, I'm just not putting on weight the way I want. I'll be like, have you tried honey buns? Put them honey buns in the microwave. If you keep it in the plastic, but open one end of the plastic, okay? Microwave it for 11 to 15 seconds. Twice a day. Once a day, twice a day is excessive. Once a day, if that might save your life. Them honey buns, they might save your life. Peligroso is, yeah, so I would understand if she came down the steps or if she had stayed up in her door and she had been like, peligroso, I'd have been like, okay, thank you, obrigado, obrigado. But I think you're used to navigating more you're used to navigating more dangerous situations than the places you're going to, for the most part. Salvador, Bahia, Brazil might be an exception. Neighborhoods in Salvador are super dangerous. But your city in the United States of America has a higher violent crime rate than the places you're going to. 90% of the places you're going to. So let that guide you. Let that guide you. And then you have experience with people. I have good intuition, right? If you don't have good intuition, then maybe, you take it a little easier. I got good intuition. You talk to me, I know I know I want to keep talking to you. You're not going to make it. Ain't going nowhere, right? Protection. Protection. Antennas. Use your good judgment, but also understand you're going to need the local people. Wherever you go, you're going to need them, right? From small things to big things. One day I was like, why is everything closed? He was like, oh, it's Independence Day. We just had Independence Day again. So we just had the anniversary of the day when I was like, I don't know what's going on here. What happened? Let me Google, is this the end of the world? Why does it look like this? Right? He's like, Independence Day. You're going to need people to help you with small things and big things. That getting clobbered by that bike and being laid out on the cement meant that I needed to trust local people. Some of it is just through experience. A lot of things in life are muscles, and we just need to exercise them to be able to use them. You got to work them out. So that trusting people muscle is just a thing that you can do. Ask somebody for directions, because after I navigated, I went to 12 countries in 12 months, starting September of 2015. And probably in most of those countries, I saw at least 4 different locations. 4 or 5 locations. So in 12 months, 40, 50 places. Some places I stayed for 60 days, but some places I stayed for 2 nights. I have to ask for help. I'm asking for directions. I'm not learning every time I get somewhere how to get around this place. I'm just going to ask. I'm going to go to the hostel front desk. I'm going to get the little paper map that they give me. I'm going to walk around with my paper map, and I'm going to let people instruct me on how to get. I'm going to look lost until somebody stops and helps me. Okay. I'm not going to figure this out. It's not worth me figuring it out. I'm only here for a night. It's not worth me figuring out how to get somewhere. If you're never going to trust other people, stay where you're at. It's a muscle. You can work it. You can learn it. There is no city in the United States that is less dangerous than most of the places you're going. Most of the places you're going are less violent crime than where you're from. You can do it. You can do it. Carmen says bad advice. Live your life. I don't know. So my question is, where have you been? Right? If my advice is bad, what is the good advice and where have you been? Because I've been around the world. If you're not going to trust the people in the place that you're going, using your good discernment, using your good sense, if you're not going to trust the people in the places you're going, stay home. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. It's required. It's required that you become a good member of the community you're going to. You see Americans going places and they put up the fence, they stay in fenced, what do they call it? Gated communities, and they don't interact with local people. And that's why the local people hate them. The local people hate them. They stay in their gated communities. They barely trust the housekeeper who's in their home every week, right? And they don't interact with local people and the local community. And they give all of us a bad name, right? Because we all gringo. We all gonna be called gringo. So you have the discernment you need. You cannot become an adult in the United States of America without having navigated dangerous situations. You've had to navigate more danger than you probably will experience in other places. Yeah, she's here. 9:54. I feel like every week she's a couple minutes later because last time was 9:40 something, 9:46. So that must mean she's making sales. She got to stop and handle transactions. Yeah. If you are going somewhere just to gate yourself behind a fence, it's not going to work for you. You're not going to like it, and they're not going to like you. And it gives all of us a bad name. Yeah. Situational awareness. You have it. I'm convinced you have it. I'm convinced you have it. I don't think you can make it. I don't know of a city. I've not been to a city in the United States where you haven't had to be able to take care of yourself, be aware of the situation. Cities I love, even the cities I love. I love Chicago. Summertime in Chicago is the best the United States of America has to offer. The best. Better than Clearwater, the beaches in Florida that are so clear, and better than that is Chicago in the summertime. And you got to know what you're doing. Also, summer in Chicago, people will help you with things. Chicago, New York City. When I get on the subway in New York City, I make it clear that I don't know where I'm going. Help me. And you know what people do? They help you. I don't know. Listen, here's the thing I would not recommend. But in New York City and in Lisbon, at the machine, if I'm holding it up and I'm not getting my ticket out of the machine, out of the subway machine in the right, and somebody was like, I'll help you. I will let them help me with my transaction, with my card in the machine, right? Because all they can do is run off with the card. I can stop the card in 10 seconds, right? But I'm holding up a line for 10 minutes because I can't navigate this metro machine. I've had people help me in at least those. I remember in Lisbon, he was like, what is your problem? Right? In New York City, I wouldn't recommend letting people handle card transactions for you. But I would say, if you don't trust other people, you're not going to make it in life. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. What is going on? I'm going to have to. I don't know what's going on in the comments, in the chat. I think I got it under control. Yes, right? They would rather help me than have me slow them down. Every time, every time. Now, the last time, Rashida O and I were in New York City on the subway. Now, this last time, every time I rode the subway, every time we rode the subway, someone asked us for directions. I'm like, do I look like I know where I'm going? Just because we're Black women doesn't mean you should stop. We can help you. I don't know anything, right? I be like, help me, help me, help me. I don't know. It's not working. Somebody else do it. When I say I do as little as possible, people think they know what it means until they see it in action, right? I have told you since I've been talking on the internet that I do as little as possible. But when you see it in action, it's kind of surprising. I'll be like, I don't know how to do this. You do it. You do it. My card is in this machine. You do the rest. Or if I can't swipe it, you swipe it. Right? You work behind the counter and I'm frustrating you, you do it. You do it. Child, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I did get to be a good neighbor. There was a woman in the in the subway, and she was looking for siete. She had been sitting, she was maybe 60, Spanish speaking. And she had been sitting next to a younger man who also was Spanish speaking. So I thought they were together. But then when we both get off of the train, she turns to me and asks, but they weren't together. So she gets off, he stays. She turns to me and she's like, siete. I'm looking for line siete. And I was like, okay, well, let's walk and find it together because I don't know the answer. I did get to be a helpful neighbor, a helpful pseudo New Yorker for a few minutes. We are in this world together. Listen, we create the world that we want. Is it time to bring out the... This is the Nap Bishop's rest deck. The Nap Ministries rest deck. There's a whole deck of cards, but this was my very favorite. I have some I use as bookmarks. So there's more. I have more than one favorite, but this is my very favorite. Welcome to the dream space. Another world is possible. What we want is possible if we make it. Thank you. So we make it. So if I want to be the kind of person if I want to live in a world where the stranger is a helpful person, I have to, as a stranger, be the helpful person. But I also have to accept help. Child, ayúdame. I don't know. Ayúdame. Okay. Do I look like I know what's going on? I feel like I've mastered that. I don't know. Look, I don't know. Now, women, generally, it's women. I trust women around the world. They'd be like, here's the answer, or here's the way you go, right? Bogotá, one of the reasons that as soon as I got to Bogotá and I just stayed here instead of going to another part of Colombia and being like, let me try Medellin, let me try Cali. I got to Bogotá and I just stayed here because people were good to me. They have a reputation of being colder than other Colombians, but I don't need you in my face, so happy. I just want you to be helpful. And they have been They were helpful to me from day one. I don't know where I'm going. Help me. Is it also a digital deck? I don't know, but you should ask her. She is the Nap Ministry on Instagram and Threads. She's pretty active on Instagram and Threads. I don't know. That's a good question. What are we talking about? How are we doing? We talked about, language. How frustrating are the language barriers? Not frustrating they're frustrating. No, that's not true. They're frustrating is not the same as it being a barrier. I don't think the language barrier is truly a barrier. That's why I put lie. It's a lie. The language barrier lie. It's not a barrier. A barrier stops progress. It's a hurdle. It's extra effort. It takes extra effort, but you can get over it. It's a language hurdle. It's not a language barrier. Okay? It takes extra steps. Maybe you find a translator. Maybe you use a translating app and while learning the language. I think it's critical that we learn the language. That's one of the reasons that I didn't consider moving to somewhere like Thailand, which I love. I don't know that I would ever be able to learn Thai. I don't know. It's just so different. So different. I'm not saying don't move to Thailand. I'm saying make an effort. Even if you can never read the language, I don't know. Would I ever be able to read Thai? I know how to say sawadee ka, kapun ka. I know how to say aroy, which is delicious. They love it when you say that in the restaurants. Aroy. But moving somewhere and not learning the language and putting yourself behind a gated community is really, really shitty. It's really it's not the way to go. It's not the way that you want to move into another place, because it's not how you would want people to moving to your place, right? It's not how we would want people moving to Wilmington, Delaware, right? I lived in the historic 9th Ward. I believe it was the 9th. Historic 12th Ward. Now I can't remember. It's been so long. Historic 9th Ward in Wilmington, Delaware. Really love some of them streets in Wilmington, just delightful. There were some of my favorite places to drive around. There are a couple of streets in Wilmington. I'm like, man, this is beautiful, right? What we would not want is Chinese people coming in, moving in. They don't speak English. They put up a bunch of walls. Imagine, right? Imagine people doing to you what you think you would do there in another place. You don't want to live like that. Try. You got to put in an effort. But I don't think you need to know the language before you get there in pretty much any place. You have to be okay with being frustrated, right? There's a couple of small towns in Mexico. A lot of Mexico, you can go there. Everybody's speaking English, right? Whatever. But there's some small towns in Mexico that I really love. But you're going to have to get your English up quick when you get there. Guanajuato, it's so cute. Everything is like pastel colored. It's so cute. You're going to have to get your Spanish. I mean, you're going to have to get your Spanish up. Okay. You're not doing things in English there. But you want to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You have neighborhoods, you have cities that you love dearly and that you would want to see preserved or kept in a way. And you don't want to go to a place and force your way in and change it and make it worse. I have not visited Cuernavaca. No. Yeah, so my Spanish, it was good. And then I left for months and came back and I was like, my Spanish is worse. It's worse. And I haven't done too much to fix that. I feel like I was making progress the first time I was here. I left October through January and came back and I was like, I've lost it. I wish, no, not I wish. That's weird. That was a weird way to start the sentence. I should do more listening taking Spanish media, TV, movies, music. I got to do more of that. Bad Bunny is not helpful to learn Puerto Rican Spanish. It's not helpful. So I need to take in more Colombian media in particular, I think, to help me learn better, do better. Yeah, a lot of Americans do this. They move into enclaves. Enclave is the exact word. Enclaves. They're English. There are American enclaves all over the world, or English-speaking enclaves all over the world. That's colonization, right? Costa Rica, Americans are colonizing Costa Rica. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you say. Americans, there's a new colonizer in Costa Rica, and it's American people, white Americans, and all their. I don't know if they're Mormons or just generic white people with big families. They're colonizing Costa Rica again. That's not how we do it. As Black people, we have a better sense of community. We have a sense of community. We have empathy. We have a togetherness that white people are not capable of, American white people are not capable of. And you see that when you look at the differences in how we move abroad and how they move abroad. You can see it with your own eyes. Get there and look at them. That's one of the reasons they're so terribly jealous. They're deathly jealous. White American people are deathly jealous of Black people. And part of that jealousy comes from our connectedness, our togetherness, our community. They hate it. They love it. They wish they had it, but they hate that we have it. They wish they had it. That's why they're always trying to infiltrate. Can I get in? Let me marry a Black man and maybe I can get in with y'all. They're always trying to infiltrate because they're not capable of doing it on their own. Jackie, my water was turned off the other day because I did not understand that they didn't accept my credit card for payment. Practice your Portuguese, went to the water company. Yeah, there are things that you don't know when you're new to a place that you need to be in community with other people so that you know these things and so that you can fix these things, right? How do you fix it if you don't know how to fix it? Yeah. Oh, I hope it was a pretty easy thing to get reversed. Yeah, I think telenovelas is probably the smart way. I have no doubt. I've been recommended a few. Yeah, I've been recommended a few. Yeah, all right. So that's all I got for the day. Oh, but I started something. What did I want to go back to? Ooh, 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 ooh. Hold on, Ms. Lady. Don't they also see you as a dollar sign because you're American? We were talking about how, um, people just are like, let me be helpful, right? Yes. So a lot of the people you come into contact with, there's nothing to gain. They don't have anything to gain. And so they're not trying to game you for anything. There's nothing to gain, right? The lady who works at the grocery store, who I asked for help, there's no way that she can, quote unquote, rip me off, right? I can count on one hand the number of times that I knew that this local person was ripping me off. One time in Vietnam, a place I love, right? The man tried to charge me the price of a steak dinner for a sandwich on the side of the street when he had just charged somebody else less than 10,000 dong. I think I was expecting to be 8,000 dong and he wanted to charge me 80,000 dong, right? But most people you come in contact with are not in the position to rip you off anyway, right? Sure, taxi drivers, which is why taxi drivers, even in the US, right? Taxi drivers are in a position to try to rip you off, which is why Uber grew so quickly, I think. And the little sandwich cart man, the avocado cart man here, right? I went to an avocado cart a few months ago and it was a father and son. And the little boy was like, 8,000 pesos. And the man was like, no, 10,000 pesos. Now, was the boy wrong or was the father just trying to get 2,000 pesos from me? I don't know the answer. I believe 1,000 pesos. Let's see, 100,000 pesos is $30. So 1,000 pesos is three. I still don't know this. Convert. So it was 2,000 COP. So the price went up 63 cents for my avocados from the man on the street. But most people that you're interacting with, they don't have a reason to rip you off, right? Times when this is the exception. If you're buying property or building property, yes, this is a time when people will rip you off around the world, especially if you once they know you're American, right? Buying and building property, oh, rip off central. I don't know anybody who's built or bought property in a place that they weren't from or didn't have family in that didn't get ripped off. Major rip off, right? But other than that, the lady at the Walmart, we don't have Walmart here, Exito, what does she have to gain? Why do I need to be afraid of her? Why do I need to be afraid that she sees me as a dollar sign? Or the person at the restaurante? Why do I need to be worried that they just see me as a dollar sign? The United States has done a lot of harm around the world, and people are owed some reparations. And maybe they're trying to get their reparations from me while I'm trying to get my reparations from the country. I'm not going to lead with that. I'm not going to go around and be so fearful of that I don't have good experiences, except buying property and building a house. That is a time when you need to just assume that everybody's ripping you off. They're going to rip you off. Okay. They're going to rip you off. I don't care. If you're not from there or you don't have a strong family presence there, you're getting ripped off. I don't care. You build a house, you want to build a house in Ghana, child, they're going to rip you off. The mom trotter is Kay Akpan, and she is from Ghana, like from Ghana. She done posted about the interior designer ripped her off, the curtains maker ripped her off, right? They gonna rip you off. She is from there. I believe her mother still lives there. Her mom and her sister live, they gonna rip you off. You're building property, they're ripping you off, okay? The rest of the time, have an idea of what things should cost and go on about your day. Go on about your day. And I want to answer this question too. What are the vibes after the election? I haven't noticed a shift in things. There were lots of protests around, which I didn't see because I'm in a bougie neighborhood, right? I didn't see the protests. Harlem Minded saw the protests. Chelsea, I think Chelsea. No, Chelsea's way up there. She probably didn't see him either. There were protests, and then the president went ahead and certified the election. If y'all don't know, the Trump supporting candidate here in Colombia won the presidential election. Not ideal. Colombia has oil, a lot. Colombia has a lot of oil. I don't think right now Colombia is extracting the oil. And that is what one of the main things that this recent election was about, oil. And this presidential candidate is just really bloodthirsty. He's really a fan of the fact that the United States, you and our tax dollars, have killed so many fishermen and boat people and quote unquote drug traffickers. Hundreds of people. The United States has killed hundreds of people on the water. And he loves that. This new man who was just elected, he wants the United States to steal all Colombia's oil for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it. And he wants to be able to also kill fishermen out on the boats. He won the election. And he takes office, I believe, in August. I believe it's very soon. And it sucks. Now, I haven't noticed a big change in people's attitudes. We'll see what happens after he gets here, after he moves in, right? After he's elected. In the United States, people got worse and worse from the first Trump election. People got worse and worse immediately. Every time I got back to the United States, I would be like, these people are worse and worse every time I come back here. What will happen in Colombia? We'll see. I'm like, I had just bought my little Colombia soccer jersey, my little World Cup jersey. Then they have the election, they elect that man. I am side-eyeing these people while still being treated the same, right? Still being treated well. So we'll see what happens. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks because Colombia was one of the final strongholds against the U.S. recolonizing this place, right? You have Colombia, Brazil, Mexico. The rest of Latin America has pretty much acquiesced already. And now Colombia has fallen. It sucks. It sucks. Did they really elect him is one of the questions. The current president was like, this election should not count. I don't want to certify it. This was absolutely tampering. Israel and the United States tampered with this election. So he held off on certifying it for a few days, but then he certified it. Did they? Now, I would have gone, I could agree that there was tampering, but I'll also tell you that my own very neighbors who I'm looking out their apartments right now, as soon as that election was called in favor of that terrible man, they were out waving their flags and blowing their horns and cheering and celebrating. It seemed to be about a good half. The percentage that voted for him in the runoff, that looked accurate in my little strip of Bogotá. But did he really win? Was there tampering? I don't know. We'll see. I think they said this was the closest election since they've counted the closeness of elections. They do a little runoff thing. They have a lot of candidates. This is one of those countries, like most of the world, you don't have two parties, right? This is a multi-party system, and they had a runoff, and then they had the final three candidates. The last election, I believe, was three candidates. I'm rolling my eyes at these people because the people with the baby, I waved at them people. I used to wave at them every Saturday. I sit here in my seat. She'd be standing at the window holding the baby. I'm like, I thought we were friends. You're out here celebrating this man this Trump supporter being elected, right? People came out of the balconies there's just rows of balconies right in front of me. I saw people I've never seen before. Like, I thought that apartment was empty. Y'all out here blowing your horns and waving the flags because this Trump supporter was elected. I don't know what they expect. I don't know what they expect him to do. Like, I don't know how they think their lives are going to be better because he's now the president-elect. I don't know what that celebration was about. Right? I don't get it. Because good and well the United States wants your oil. I don't think I am a very basic person. I know the very bare bones of politics. And I know that. I know Colombia got oil and the United States wants oil. So and Colombia has not been extracting Colombia has oil reserves that they're not using. So I'm sick of these people. Right? I just had this furniture made. I thought I was going to be here for several years. Now I'm back to, let me get my babies and go, right? Let me get my babies and get up out of here. I thought I was going to be here for quite a while. I had furniture made. Now, I'm sick of these people. You'll see. We'll see. We'll never know what happens. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Listen, one thing I'm going to do is tell you. I'll keep you posted. If I see a change in people's attitudes, if I see a change in laws If I see a change, if we see a Gestapo rolling down the streets, I'm about, right? If you get the Colombian equivalent of ICE, right? Y'all have Gestapo. I don't know what I don't know what y'all see when you see ICE. They killing people left and right. Right? Y'all have a little terror squad, not a little. A powerful, fully armed Klan squad in your cities, right? They start talking that kind of talk, I'm up out of here. Rashida just had a wonderful video on her channel, a wonderful conversation about the Netherlands. And I always said that I think the Netherlands is a fantastic place to raise children. I was only there for a few weeks, right? But as we've said, I go on intuition. I got there and I saw children living the life that I got to live in the 80s and 90s. I was born in the mid 70s. I got to see what it was like. Them kids look like that, right? Riding their bikes on their own without their parents, going to the soccer field or going to the whatever, hanging out, going to the grocery store and buying their own snacks. So I thought when I have a family, I'm going to raise my family in the Netherlands. And that was confirmed by the conversation. Now, I didn't realize there was such a housing shortage in the Netherlands. Monique White raised her girls in the Netherlands. They're now adults. They're not girls anymore. What happened? What happened? They're grown-ups now. But she raised Miss P and Miss V in the Netherlands. And that conversation on Rashida's channel, let me link that if I can do that quickly. That conversation confirmed that. But the housing shortage is a concern, right? How much will that affect housing prices, and how will it affect where in the Netherlands you live? If you love, let's say you love, so I only went to Amsterdam and Amstelveen, but let's say you love, what's that city that I know that lady from? Netherlands cities. Rotterdam. And there's a housing shortage. How far outside of Rotterdam do you need to be? And will you like that life? I don't know the answer. What is the housing crisis doing? What will it do? I don't know the answer. But this was a fantastic. Monique, did Rashida give you, what is her name? Wendy. Did Rashida give you Wendy's number? Share or email address or something? Copy, paste. Let me give y'all this video link. Between the family, what is it called? The family medical leave, like maternity leave, paternity leave, shortened work weeks. It is a family focused place, Wendy. Remind me or holler at us on the threads or something. Because you would like her. I think you would like her. I think y'all should be friends. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Netherlands, fantastic place to raise a family. I've thought that since I went there, and Wendy's conversation confirmed that for me. Housing crisis, though, is a problem. What's it going to cost to live there? I don't know. What is the solution? I do have faith in leaders in those countries to figure things out that I don't have faith in the United States, right? The United States is going to continue to let prices go unchecked. They're going to continue. They don't care. They do not care. They have no sense of decency as human people. And they also don't have the intelligence to know that you're going to run out of people. People are going to, if people don't have the money to live, you're not going to make any more money. They don't even have that basic common sense. So I think I trust other countries' governments to do a better job of that, right? Mexico has done some things that makes me think that they're at least interested in people having a good life, right? A lot of Latin American countries, I'm not sure of. I don't know. But some Latin American countries, I have faith in. And I have faith in the Netherlands for no reason other than they seem to be thoughtful people, right? Based on the way the few laws I know about are set up. They seem to be thoughtful in how things operate. Um, I Wendy didn't talk about this in the video, but let me tell you what the trash cans look like in the Netherlands. Let me tell you about trash pickup in the Netherlands. I stayed in a neighborhood, I believe in Amstelveen, which was well connected through trams to get you into Amsterdam. Trams and probably a train to get you in, well connected, right? She said, I was house sitting. I'm a house sitter. She said, here's where you take the trash. Because the thing I often forget, what day is trash day? I happened to have been house sitting for Americans in the Netherlands. They were from New England somewhere, Massachusetts maybe. And she said, I said, what day is trash day? And she was like, oh, let me show you how this works. Instead of you putting your trash in front of your house, you take it to the end of the street. It looks like a regular outside small dumpster, but the whole neighborhood uses it. It looks like a small dumpster on the sidewalk. That bad boy is underground and it's huge. And when the truck comes, the truck lifts it up out of the ground, and this whole thing comes up out of the ground full of trash. It was so impressive. I was like, that is thoughtful. That is thoughtful, right? The trash truck doesn't have to drive up and down my street. I don't need to have trash out on the street, right? Trash day is stressful. I don't need to have my trash out at any particular time. When I need it, I would take it down to this thing. And that whole, you think the trash truck is just picking up the dumpster. There's like a whole structure under the street that lifts up, that is full of trash. I was like, this is urban planning. Okay. I didn't know I had an urban planning kink until I saw the urban planning. I was like, these people care about this place. They care about this place. She knew I was going to be impressed by it, right? She's like, this is a thing. Okay, let me show you how it works. I think you needed to have a code or key or something to put your trash in there. I feel like there was a key. I feel like you couldn't just open it. Maybe you could. I don't recall. But I do remember watching the truck come and like the whole thing lifted up. This is a neighborhood worth of trash that he's getting up in 1 minute. I don't think I took one photo of it. I don't think I took one picture of it. I was like, this is urban planning. When you go to a place and you see urban planning for the way people live and the way you would like to live, it's really amazing. That's why I don't live in the United States anymore, right? When you go someplace and you see trains connecting, Portugal, you can get to the smallest of small towns on a train in Portugal. Right? I'm from a small town, right? Oh, well, Wilmington is not a small town. I'm not really from Wilmington, but I lived in a small town. You can't get there. You can't get to Dover in such an easy way. When I fly home, I need to fly into Baltimore or sometimes Philly or Newark. And then I need to get on a train to Wilmington, and then I need to get on a bus to Delaware. But the bus from Wilmington to Dover only goes Monday through Friday, so I can't fly it on the weekend. And it stops. I think the last bus from Wilmington to Dover is 7 p.m. It's not connected. Dover is not connected. If Dover was in Portugal, I would take a train from Lisbon, right, from one city, from New York City, and I would end up in Dover. Pardon me. Right? Urban planning. Right? In the Netherlands, you don't need to do a big grocery shop. Most of the world, here in Bogotá, you don't need to do a big grocery shopping haul where you stock up your fridge and your freezer. You come home with food for today and tomorrow, and then you do it again. That might seem hard to people until you live that way. Not having to have things stocked up, just walking, because you're going to walk past the store on your way home from work, or your way home from the museum, or you go to the restaurant and you can afford to eat at the restaurant in Vietnam. You don't have, I don't think I walked into the kitchen. She showed me the kitchen in that Vietnam house. I didn't have to store anything in the kitchen. I must have had a mini fridge because I do like yogurt for breakfast sometimes if I don't want to go out. I don't think I walked into that kitchen 3 times because in Vietnam, you're not using your kitchen. Every block, at least, there's some red chair. You sit down in them red chairs, or you go into the restaurant. The pho place I liked was an indoor restaurant. Go into the restaurant, you sit down, you eat your pho, you get your Vietnamese coffee for 20,000 dong, which was $1. Why would I buy groceries? Breakfast is $1. The banh mi that he tried to rip me off for must have been 80. I said maybe 80. I don't know. Banh mi. Maybe 80,000 was the right price. Maybe 80 was the right price. And he was trying to charge me 5 times that, whatever. Right? You get your banh mi for a couple dollars for lunch. Get a full meal for dinner for 40,000 dong. What? For $2. Why would I buy groceries? And then you can't buy fruit ahead of time. Fruit and bread outside the United States, you cannot buy fruit and bread for any extended period of time. It's going bad. I don't care. I've had fruit go bad on me in 3 days, and I'm like, oh shoot, I knew that. Right? Mess around, try to buy bread and leave it on the counter. You don't do that. They don't. It's not pumped. It's not. I'm sure there's some preservative or something, but it's different. That stuff is molding. That food molds. Girl. So Lady Sarita, I house sat for a woman multiple times. She was one of my regulars in Mexico. She's from Alabama, and she would go home to visit her 90-something mother for the months of December and May every year. And I would house sit for her and her 2 dogs, Sophie and Kojo. And she was flying into Atlanta, and I was like, can't you just take, she was talking about she had a problem with something picking her up or whatever. And I was like, can't you just take the train from Atlanta to Birmingham? She was like, Stephanie, what train do you think exists? I was like, these are major, Birmingham is a major city. You're telling me there's no Amtrak. These cities are pretty close together. Even I was surprised. And I just told you there's no train to Dover, right? But I was like, there's no train that you can take that runs several times a day from Atlanta to Birmingham so you can get to your mother's house. That's stupid. That's racist. That's hateful. That's greedy capitalist. You must have a car thinking. That just doesn't exist most places. It's not like that. It's not like that. So I found out I am such a fan of urban planning. Right? A thing that I just love about this neighborhood in Bogotá, these couple of neighborhoods. My basic understanding of Bogotá, having not seen the whole city, is that this section of the city it's all walkable, but this section of the city is more store heavy. There's commerce and residential combined. You don't have that you cannot have that in the United States. The law does not allow you to have commerce and residence in the same zones. So you cannot live your life without a car. I can walk. I'm almost at the end of my block. I go 1 block and there's Farmatodo and a couple of small mom and pop grocery stores, like convenience stores. 1 more block, I'm at a major grocery store. It's small, but it's a major one. It's a major chain of grocery stores. It's a smaller version. I'm in a financial district, but it's a grocery store, and then rows and rows of restaurants. The laundries. There's laundry ladies. There's gyms. I don't have to walk 2 blocks to live a whole life. In Delaware, I got to walk 2 miles to get to the grocery store where my parents live, 2 miles to get to the grocery store, and there's no sidewalk. It's bad engineering. It's just racist engineering, right? It's engineering. It's on purpose. It's designed to make you, to segregate people, and designed to make you have to have a car. The oil and gas industry, the automobile industry, the tire industry, they had a lot of say in how the US cities are set up that they didn't have in these other places. And it sucks. It's ruined our lives. Between the pollution, that and the lawn care industry. I have the lawn care industry ruined things. The closer you live to a golf course, the more likely you're going to die early. The earlier you're going to die, right? You live near a golf course where they're spraying them lawns with the chemicals, you're going to die, right? A couple of industries really had a lot of say in how you live your life every day in the United States that just don't exist in other parts of the world. Ain't no lawn care industry in Bogotá, right? So there are a handful of places in the United States. So Kat said Washington, D.C., ML Jack said Chicago, that give you a glimpse of what could have been. When I left in 2015, I only had money for a year. And I thought I would come back to the United States and get a job at a pharmacy, at a hospital somewhere else in the United States and live there. And Chicago was at the top of my list, even though even then I hated winter. Even though I hated winter, because you don't need a car, and the price was good back then. 2016 Chicago was a different price, right? It was a very short list. I think Mobile, Alabama, right? I don't want to live in Mobile, Alabama, but there's hospitals. I needed major hospitals and I needed walkability in the same place. That doesn't exist, right? I think the San Francisco Metro gives you a significant discount when you're a disabled military veteran. So even though I knew I couldn't afford San Francisco, I knew that I could probably work outside of San Francisco and take that discounted metro ride into San Francisco, but I didn't think that was going to work. For that, I would need to be sharing a home. I have some family in that area. It was a very short list. Where can I live near a major hospital that I can walk to work to? Right? That's all I wanted. All I wanted. A hospital where I can get a job. I don't mind working night shift even. A hospital where I can get a job and I don't need a car to get to work. Whether it's walking or taking the train or tram or trolley, something. But I did my research. It was a very short list. It sucks. Philadelphia, I think Philly, parts of some hospitals in some neighborhoods in Philly. But it's not looking good. When you go other places, you really can be like, this is what could have been. This is what could have been. First time I went to Japan, I was like, they're in the future. This is amazing. I rode that train in Japan. I got from I don't know, it was really fast. It was really fast. I was like, they're in the future. And people were like, no, Japan is not in the future. Your country is in the past. reword that. Japan, you're not in the future because you're in Japan. You're in the past when you're in the United States. Oh, it's not as cold as it used to be. Global warming changed that, Amina said. Amina's from Chicago. Yeah. Yeah, it was a surprisingly short list. I want I want a medical center. I want a medical center where I can walk to, where I don't need a car to get to work. It was surprisingly short. And live my life. I don't need a car to live my life, right? I can walk to work, walk to grocery stores, walk to a little bit of shopping, walk to restaurants. That's not how life is there. It sucks. It really sucks. And then they want to talk about how Americans don't get enough activity, don't get enough vitamin D. You got everybody sitting in the car for 2 hours a day. I'm in the car for 2 hours a day. What you want from me? Y'all made it that way. You designed that. That's what you wanted. Yeah, I was like, this is fast. This train is so fast. This is the future. In Japan, the trains were fast, and you could get a lot of things from vending machines and stuff. Like, I just mean like ordering. When you ordered at a restaurant, the places I went to, you order from a machine, and then the person makes the food and brings you your food. And I was like, this is so convenient. So easy. This is the future. And they were like, no, this is not the future. I was in hostels. I was staying in hostels back then. So you'd be talking to Europeans, you'd be talking to people all over the world. And they'd be like, girl, why are you so impressed by this? One time I just walked into a hostel and I was like, this internet is fast, right? It was 2016. I was in Malaysia. I just left. I think I left the Philippines where the internet was slow. And I was in Malaysia and I was like, I've never experienced internet this fast. And the girl was like, me neither. There's no internet in the United States of America where people are paying back then probably $60 a month for internet service alone, right? There's no internet this fast, as fast as this internet in this hostel in Malaysia. It was really impressive. Malaysia also in the future, right? Malaysia has a lot of advantages that I don't want you to overlook just because it's hot. If you like heat and humidity, don't overlook Malaysia. That's a place where you can learn the language, their alphabet. They use the alphabet that we're used to. You can read the letters, their letters and numbers. Bahasa Malaysia and Bahasa Indonesia are relatively easy languages for English speakers to learn. So Malaysia, keep it on your list. If you can handle heat and humidity, keep it on your list. I could not. I couldn't, but you might. You might. All right. So, hey, Keisha. How are you? You can walk freely in the streets in Japan. Go to any vending machine. I was there years ago. Yeah, I was like, this is the future. And people in the hostel were like, no. You just come from a messed up country. My eyes were open. My eyes were open. All right. So, yeah, I think, I think Malaysia, just because it's hot and humid, and I don't mention it too much, doesn't mean it's not worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I think the women who love Kuala Lumpur. Nothing can compare. So don't overlook it. Don't overlook it. Yeah. English, yes. So English was widely spoken, but I do think it is important to learn the language, to at least be able to do something in that language. English is widely spoken in Malaysia. I went to Kuala Lumpur, Penang, and Malacca. Yeah. English widely spoken. Food is good. Even though it's rice every day, I'm a rice everyday girly. Okay, nasi goreng, nasi. Now, Indonesian and Malaysian food, I don't remember any difference. To me, they were the same. So, yeah. But yeah, food was good. Language is learnable. They do speak English. Everybody speaks English, but but I think it's important still. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Indonesia doesn't make it easy to move there. Malaysia has pathways. I believe they still have pathways to permanent residency. Used to be called Malaysia My Second Home. It changed, but I think it still exists. Racism above innovation. That's basically like the motto. I would consider this the tagline, the United States' tagline. I just saw threads sometime this week. Somebody was like, so tell me again why the United States doesn't have universal health care. Child, racism. Okay. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Oh, good. Making your jewelry. Hello. The Afrocentric therapy. Hello. It's a pretty easy answer to that question. Special list for perimenopausal and menopausal women. Absolutely. Come to Bogotá and Medellin. The Medellin meetup is it Saturday? Not next Saturday? No, 2 weeks. We still have a week of July left, right? Yeah. Medellin meetup at the Medellin Flower Festival in Colombia. The 5th of August or the 8th of August. Must be the 8th. August 8th, we're meeting up. Medellin and Bogota are menopause approved and perimenopause approved. Hot flash approved? Yes. Yes, hot flash approved. Mexico City, most of the year, hot flash approved. Guadalajara, hot flash approved, as far as I recall. In Latin America, you think it's all hot, but it's not. There are a lot of high altitude cities in Latin America where you'll be fine. Bogota, so I have on a dress and pants. After I put the pants on, I was like, why didn't I just put a t-shirt on? This is a t-shirt dress. I was like, why did I put a full dress on? I know I got to wear pants. It got to 70 a couple of days last week. And I was like, oh, wow, 70, right? We stay in the 60s. It stays in the 60s in Bogota. Okay, I think Malaysia has a retirement visa too. Yes. Yeah, Malaysia, when I left the United States, September 2015, to travel for that year in Southeast Asia, I thought I was going to I started in Malaysia and I thought I was going to end in Malaysia and try to figure out how to just stay. If I could figure something out money-wise, I'm like, I'm just going to stay here. If not, I'll come back to the United States. That's why I got rid of all my stuff. If not, I'll go back to the United States and try to find a hospital pharmacy job in a city where I don't need a car. But Malaysia was at the top of my list. But then I got there and I was like, it's hot. I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas when I was in the Army. And we had to do PT. And more than once, when I was on extra duty, I was on extra duty a time or two. And I had to do PT at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in this May. We're not in the summer, but in May, I remember one time it was May in Texas, and I had to do PT at 3 p.m. because I was on extra duty and I couldn't do PT in the morning because I had to be there to raise the flag and whatever. I was in trouble. And I have done PT, full PT, push-ups, sit-ups, run 2-3 miles. I've done that at 3 p.m. in May in Texas, and I never thought I was going to die. Not once. I walked out of the door in Malaysia. I'm just walking across the street. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it. I thought you see 90 degrees and 90% humidity, and you think, I know what that's like. I lived in Texas. 4 years I was stationed in Texas. Or I've been to New Orleans. I've been to Jazz Fest, which is in Memorial Day weekend, I believe, in New Orleans. I've been to Houston. In the summertime. 90 degrees, 90% humidity. I know what that is. You do not know what that is. Humidity is relative. It was hot. Okay? It's hot. I just want to say that one more time. So that's why we don't talk about it too much. But it's ideal for some of y'all. For some of you. You get to Malaysia, you're going to be like, this is my home. I'm staying. Chili crab. I ate good in Malaysia. That's really what I remember. I remember Kuala Lumpur, I remember annoying men from, they have a lot of Bengali men, Bengali workers. And I remember how much I did not like being around them. And I remember the heat and humidity, and I remember the good food. Good food and live music. Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, because it's so hot, I could leave the house at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., go somewhere, hear some good live music, have some drinks, have dinner, and really enjoy myself. And that was a real live music venue, a real good live music city, a city full of good live music venues. That's what I did in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. Leave at 8 p.m., go get something to eat at a restaurant and listen to the live music. Yeah, we need a hot flash approved list. Yes, cashmere. Yes. You want to be in a place where you need cashmere, not constant fanning. Would I consider, given the political climate, would I consider moving to another country? Would I consider leaving Colombia? Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes open, right? I'm giving them one good. So, I'm here to do the thing. Once I do the thing, originally I thought I was going to do the thing and then leave, get my family and go. And then once I got here, and especially once I got into this apartment, seriously, I love this apartment. I love this apartment. Once I got into this apartment, I was like, oh, maybe we'll stay for a while. Get my family. We might stay here for a while. Now I'm like, y'all got one strike. One strike makes the difference between me and my family staying here for a few more years and me and my family leaving. Adoption gives you permanent residency in Colombia. So, and that's the only way. Well, adoption and if you're not getting retirement income, permanent residency in Colombia, either you have permanent retirement income for life, which I don't have yet, or you have like Social Security, pension, or you have invested in real estate. I think it's around $140,000 in real estate investment, which if need be, I could take out my whatever money and do it. I would prefer not to. And adoption. Those are the three ways that I know to get permanent residency in Colombia. It's not like Mexico where you can be like, I have this much money in the bank, give me permanent residency. Right now, if you have X amount of dollars in the bank, Mexico, you can apply for permanent residency in Mexico. Or you can get temporary and then apply for permanent. So what was I saying? Would I consider moving to another country? I have there's like one strike. I'm using the one strike rule. Once I get these kids or a kid, a family, one strike, which was the original plan, but we'll see. I still think, like I said, the Netherlands, I still think a wonderful place to raise kids. I'm telling you, I've been around the world and I've not seen kids get on their bikes on their own and live their lives like we did in the 80s and 90s, maybe the 80s, maybe not even the 90s, like they did in the Netherlands. It just looked so good. I was like, this is the life, right? Even at the house I was house sitting for, the daughter is the one, she was a high schooler. She's the one who took me to the grocery store. She's like, while the mom was getting stuff ready for the trip, the teenage daughter took me to the grocery store. The boy just came home. I don't know where he'd been. He was a middle schooler. He just came home, right? I was house sitting there for a few weeks, and every time I saw groups of people, you saw kids on their own, living their lives, walk past the soccer field. They're just out there playing, having a great time. You see full families out. It's a place where I saw full families out. And it's one of the few places where I saw men as likely or more likely to be like pushing the stroller or carrying the baby. That's a strange concept to me, that even when you're out as a family, the mom pushes the stroller or carries the baby. Men have more upper body strength. He can do it. That's a man. He can push a stroller. He can carry the baby. And in the Netherlands, you were just as likely, maybe even more likely, to see the man doing it. If they had a family set of bikes, the baby seat was on the man's bike. was like, this looks like a nice place to raise a family. Plus, I'm in favor of letting people act as ambassadors for their country. And years ago, when I was in college at Delaware State University, I worked with a woman named Connie from the Netherlands, and she was really chill. Her husband was in the Air Force. Her husband was American in the Air Force, and so they lived in Dover. And she was one of my favorite people to work with. And I believe in letting people be the ambassador. Let them tell you what their country is like, right? And she was really chill. I think she was from around near the border, near like the Netherlands touches France, right? Anyway, I don't know. So I have very, right? You pushing the stroller. He got the upper body strength. It's like men's their whole deal. They have more upper body strength. It's like the main difference. The main difference. The whole reason they think they should rule the world is that they have more upper body strength. Like this, they have a penis and they have upper body strength, and they think that means they should rule the world. He can push a stroller. It stood out to me in the Netherlands that he was more likely, it was as when you see a family, you're more likely to see the man pushing the stroller. I was like, put that upper body strength to use. It's like their whole deal. It's like the whole advantage of being a man. I was in the Army. My push-up standard was much lower than the men's push-up standard. I didn't have to do as many push-ups. I'm a woman. They have the upper body strength. Push the stroller. Lovely country, though. Lovely country. And just beautiful. Well, you know, everybody likes something different. It was sunny when I was there. I happened to have been there in April. It was just perfect timing. Flower fields were in bloom and whatever. I'm sure when it's gray, it's gray. I happen to have been there at a good time. It's why you see so many Dutch people all over the world. They leave the Netherlands, they get their sun, and they go back. Okay? I'm like, it's their whole, it's like their whole advantage. It's the reason they believe they should rule the world. I'm so serious about this. They have more upper body strength, and they have a penis, and they think they should rule the world. So, like, use your upper body strength, sir. Push that stroller. Put that little baby thing on you. Yeah, Monique, November through March, gray and gloomy. When you out traveling, them Dutch people be out. They be outside. They don't stay home if they can handle it, if they can navigate it. They don't stay home. I met many a Dutch person in them hostels. They get out, and they have a good. They were people who were always surprised about how little vacation time Americans get. They have good work. Watch the video. Watch the video with Rashida. They have work-life balance without having to call it work-life balance. Yes, they go to the Caribbean. They still are connected. They still own them islands or something. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire. They get out of the Netherlands. They get their sun and they come back if they can. All right, friends. I think I've run out of things to say. So nice having you here today. Please hit the like button if you haven't done that already. And if you would think that there's a Black woman who'd be interested in this conversation, go ahead and share this video with her. Hit the share this with her. And they run amok in Curacao. One of the Dutch women that I met when I was traveling around in the Philippines, we hung out for days and days in the Philippines. She was in the Netherlands. I mean, she was in Curacao when I was there. And I was like, oh, that's right. She's Dutch. We got to have drinks and dinner while she was in Curacao. I was like, that's right. She's Dutch. They can just come and go when they feel like it. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the share button. Inside of the Exodus ASAP membership, we are finishing up the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge in July. And then in August, we are bringing in Black women therapists. So in the Exodus ASAP membership, we work on your peace out protocol. You get your peace out protocol together. Where am I going? What's it cost? Where's the money coming from? What do I do about my home and all my stuff? What do I do about my people and my pets, my kids, or anybody I'm a caregiver for? What's my insurance and healthcare plan? How do I legally stay where I'm going? Do I need residency? Do I need to work on a second passport? Whatever. And then the last or the 8th piece of the Peace Out Protocol is navigating fear and mindset, change, action. So for the month of August, we're bringing in some of our favorite Black women therapists to come and talk to the members of Exodus ASAP. We can't call it therapy. Rashida has told me we can't call it therapy. They're not coming to give you therapy, but they are coming to help you, to work with you. I don't know what an hour of therapy costs, but it costs less than a membership to the Exodus ASAP membership and for a month. And it costs, and you get all the rest of the Peace Out protocol as well. So come and join us, exodusasap.com, if you are ready to start working on your Peace Out protocol. If you're ready to get your plan together to leave the United States or leave your countries. We have some Canadian and British women as well. If you are, I'm going to try to put this link in here while I'm talking. This says that Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge, but you understand what I'm saying. If you'd like to have a plan together, right? Even if you don't think it's possible today, join us. You don't have to, is the thing about another world is possible. When you get in the right places and spaces with the right people, things become possibilities that were not possibilities before. So join us. Sometimes women come and they're like, well, I don't think I can move abroad. And then they come through the membership, they work on their protocol, and they find that actually they don't want to move anyway. They just want to have a place where they go for 3 months out of the year. Or they just want to bop around for 6 months. They don't want to move everything or get rid of everything and start, right? They just want to leave the United States for 6 months. They want to go some places. They want to decompress. They want to do some healing. They want to do some fun. They want to do some travel, some tourism things, or they want to sit in one place. But that is valid too. And that's a thing that you can uncover when you're in a place where we talk about these things and where we work on your plan. So come with us, work on your plan. I think you should have a plan, friends. I think you should have an exit plan. And I think that you should navigate significant time out of the United States, even if you don't move abroad. You don't have to get an apartment in Bogotá, right? For it to be beneficial for you. I bopped around for almost 10 years. I bopped around for 9 years and 9 months without having an official home, without officially moving anywhere. It's incredible. Leaving the United States of America is good for your health. It's good for your soul. It's good for your spirit. Good for your body. Good for your mind. Good for your relationships. Good for your ideas. Good for your brain. So you're welcome to join us. If you're a Black woman, join us in the Exodus ASAP membership. exodusasap.com. Okay. And then I told you that we're doing the meetup in Medellin. September 5th is International Exodus Summit International Meetup Day. We're doing meetups all over the world, including Guadalajara, including Panama, including Spain. I just saw Columbus, Ohio on the list today. Francis said Columbus, Ohio with exclamation points. We're doing meetups all over the world. And so you need to be in the Exodus Summit community, which is not Exodus ASAP. They're two different things. Exodus Summit community at exodussummit.com. We left Facebook. So we used to have a Facebook group where we did these things. Now we're here. And that is exodussummit.com/community. $1 fee to join one time. $1 one-time fee. Okay. All right. Nice to see you all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And take good care. Next Saturday will be August. Yeah, next time we get together, it's going to be August. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Well, I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the hair compliments. I did see them. Thank you for the hair compliments. I didn't feel like doing the mini twists, but I also didn't, I just wanted to get rid of my having to do my hair for a while. So I put them in these are in person, they look smaller, I think, than they look on camera. I would call them small, not mini. On camera, they look kind of big. Maybe medium. Maybe these are mediums. But thank you. You know, I usually put my hair in twists, put it away. I like to put my hair away for a month or two out of the year. Give me a break, please. I need my hair to give me a break. So thank you for the compliments. I really like them. And I'll see you guys again soon. Have a wonderful day. Take good care. Bye.